We are at BPTC MENA 2026, and I'm delighted to be speaking to the president of EPC, the organizers of BPTC MENA, Colin Chapman. Colin, thank you so much for giving us this time. I would like to start by asking you this: what makes BPTC MENA relevant in today's market conditions?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of challenges that refiners are now facing in today's, environment. There's a lot of political issues, geopolitical issues, new regulations on emissions, and also, the changing markets for energy transition, sustainability. So BPTC, looking at refining, it's important that we resolve all those issues, and any future strategies have to take into account those factors.
And we also know that you're celebrating your 30 years. How has that been from year one up to year 30?
Yeah, it's incredible that when I look back, the first BPTC was in year 2000 in Hamburg, and many of the companies that we see today were there at that time, making new developments all over that period of time. So we've seen, some step changes in technology, but I think focus now is on, improving efficiency of the existing installations, and there's a lot of opportunities there for improving profitability.
So I'm sure you have kept track of the topics that have been discussed, because this is the most critical discussion forum for the industry. So what have you seen in the last, let's say, 3 decades of the topics that have been discussed, of the solutions that have come about that have given direction to the industry?
Yeah, I think for residue upgrading, previously there was a lot of thermal processes like visbreaking, coking, thermal cracking. Then we saw introduction of ebullition bed hydrocracking and also slurry hydrocracking. These are very expensive technologies, and also from an operations point of view, more complicated. So I think what we're seeing is a need to introduce these kind of units because they are expensive, quite large, and in order to get the maximum benefit, you've got to find especially in regions like here, find the good operators, train them to ensure, the safe operations.
So if I would understand that correct, residue upgrading is a critical issue for refiners. Why is that so?
Well, it's a resource where you've got to maximize profitability, and it's now there's the heavy ends have to be upgraded because there's no market for heavy fuel oil, which has got high sulfur. So you have to do something with it. With the maritime fuels now, it's certain specifications that's got to be met, and also the need to look to integrate with petrochemicals if the market demands it in that region. Every region is different.
Now, I realize that you yourself are an expert in this region as well. With your hand on the pulse of the industry, how has technology improved? I know you've given an overview, but in terms of real value over these years, has there been a drastic improvement?
I think one of the big improvements is catalysts.
Okay.
Which are more producing more selective products. They can be targeted for, lighter ends or integration with petrochemicals, maximize olefins, this kind of thing. That's why there's been a big development.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, there are quite a lot of topics that are being discussed, in these forums. What is a dominant theme in this year's BPTC?
I think it's all about optimizing existing assets and also how to reduce emissions. Definitely, and a lot of small changes that when you put them all together, it can bring quite an important benefit.
And what are some of the repeated challenges that keep on coming up during these discussions, and how have they been resolved?
I think one always in these kind of processes, which generally can be high pressure, high temperature, it's all about reliability, the equipment, quality control of equipment. So during project stage, it's important to control where you buy the equipment, inspect prior to installation, and also monitor ongoing operations. And I think with things like AI coming in now, digitalization, that's an opportunity for improving, let's say, reliability and ongoing monitoring of the different large equipment. So.
Yeah, speaking of AI and digitalization, where has that now been an active part in the refining process? If we could just
I think we heard some very interesting presentations, especially from companies like Siemens, where our industry really, compared with some other industries, is lagging behind.
Sure.
So there's an opportunity to really improve, let's say, operations by further looking at where we can improve through digitalization and online improvement of, let's say, energy and monitoring critical equipment.
And was AI and digitalization a conscious part of BPTC 2026, maybe coming week?
It's certainly a big part of all our conferences now. So we're looking at where can it be introduced, who are the leading companies that can assist in this region. We see that certainly in UAE there's a big push for going in that direction. So, but I think there's still a lot of need and development required for the applications.
Now, when it comes to refining in this region, they seem to be more proactive than refiners from anywhere else in the world. How do you see these refiners, tackling the challenge of today's main issues such as decarbonization or maybe net zero overall?
Yeah, I think one big advantage of this region is that a lot of the refineries are, let's say, partially owned by different companies. Some of the Western companies. Also the Chinese. So you've got the, let's say, experience coming in from different regions that are brought to this region for refining, especially in Saudi and here as well, that we've seen the very, very strong, let's say, competence from Babco, for example.
Yeah. So you've been going strong past 3 decades. What more can we expect from conferences like BPTC in the coming years?
I think we have to look at what's happening for the requirements for different fuels. And so as we look at energy transition, how quickly in different regions is it going towards electrification and transport means. And so I think because this region has always been important for exporting products as well to different regions, like even to China. And so we see that the region here will always be important because they've got a lot of crude oil, a lot of natural resources, and also got let's say, it's a good location for exporting to big markets like India and China.
I see that it's very important that we have these discussions and keep having these discussions so that we find solutions that strengthen the refiners. The one last word that you would have either for the refiners or in general for the industry, what would that be?
I think it's because of let's say the unpredictability of the let's say global situation at the moment. It's to be agile,
sure,
and also ready. Don't have a fixed strategy. You've got to be ready to change as the market requires it. And we've seen that with one geopolitical issue can impact oil export from a given region, and it's changing now, like for India. So I think you've got to be ready to have a plan B.
Okay.
Always have a plan B.
Yeah. Sure. Well, plan Bs and discussions need to keep on, and I guess BPTC MENA plays an important role in all of that. Colin, thank you so much for speaking to us.
I really think that even I've got more than half a century of experience.
Sure.
But I learn at every conference.
Of course, yes.
And even details, when you've got time to listen and learn from all the experience of all the companies that come. So
well, it's a pleasure learning with you. Thank you so much, Colin.
Thank you.